Hey YouTube, here Twig here, bringing you all my Prediction Princess Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for February 2020. I thought an update was due for the Prediction Princess deck. It's a really interesting deck. The whole point of the Prediction Princess deck is to ritual summon out your main monster, which is Prediction Princess Tarot Tray, and then use that one to set up a bunch of different flip monsters on the field and get different effects, whether they be search effects or just, involving your opponent's own monsters and being able to shut down the deck. Focus more for a pure build. I know a lot of people tried out the Shadal variant with this deck, but I felt, it was a lot of fun just focusing on the Prediction Princess cards for the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the ritual monsters, I'm running two Prediction Princess Tarot Tray. Basically, I think the name goes off of a tarot card. I only have two of it in the deck. It's a level 9 monster. You can ritual summon this card with Prediction Ritual, and you can, during the end phase, you can special summon one flip monster from your hand or graveyard in face-down defense position. You can only use one of the following effects of Prediction Princess Tarot Tray once per turn, and only once that turn. During either player's turn, you can target one face-down monster on the field, change it to face-up attack position, and during either player's turn, you can target one face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down position. So the biggest thing that hurts this deck, obviously, are link monsters, since you can't change them to defense position, but you can still mess up a lot of other different plays, or if that doesn't work, just set up a bunch of other flip effect monsters you have on the field by being able to flip them up, use their search effects, or their other effects they have on the field. You can also bump this card up to 3. If you do, I'll show what card you can take out for a third copy. I like the 2 just because this card is very searchable with the deck. I felt that's really all you need at times for the search power. And then for some of the other Prediction Princess monsters, I run 3 Prediction Princess Coin Norma. With this one, the Prediction Princess monsters are all flip effect monsters with Coin Norma. You can special summon one level 3 or higher flip monster from your hand or deck in face down defense position when this card's flipped. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except Prediction Princess monsters, which doesn't really limit you for a good amount of effects. But one of our biggest setup cards in the deck, which we'll get to later, is Pot of the Forbidden, being a flip monster with a bunch of different effects. Very, very useful when you can set up that card with either Coin Norma or Tarot Tray. But one of your main, I'd say, Prediction Princess monsters to go for, just for the flip power it has overall in the deck. And then for a little more search, I run 3 Prediction Princess Arrow Sylph. With this one, when it's flipped, you can add one ritual spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So the fact that it also adds from the graveyard is another additional boost for search power. With the deck just being able to add the very important ritual spell, meaning you can focus on the search for your tarot tray for your other cards, for some of your other adds to your hands. But 3 Arrow Sylph, the basis of the whole deck is to go off of the flip effects. So just very, very useful when you have that additional search for all the different ones, or if you could just set it up with cards like Coin Norma and then flip it up, you just have more and more monsters to go with as well. And I also run 3 Prediction Princess Astro Morrigan. This is more of the offensive card in the deck. When it's flipped during the end phase of this turn, destroy as many defense position monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. So this is the card, like I said, that will destroy cards in your opponent's field for all the setup you do with some of your bigger boss monsters in the deck as well. So 3 Astro Morrigan, just like Arrow Sylph and Coin Norma, definitely help just for overall power in the deck for that setup. And also for more of that setup, I run 3 Prediction Princess Petal Elf. With this one, with it, you can change all face-up attacks to monsters your opponent controls to face-up defense position. Monsters change to defense position by this effect cannot change their battle position. So just more of the setup for all your opponent's monsters when you set up with Petal Elf. For the setup, if you get all their monsters, you can easily set this card up with Tarot on the Tarot Tray on the field. If your opponent gets a big field of monsters and, a good majority of them aren't the link, you can set up Petal Elf, set all those monsters, and then either they have a fusion play to go for, or they just have to rely next turn and hope that, their monsters survive long enough for them to flip them face up again. And I also run 2 Prediction Princess Crystal Dine. It's a level 5 monster, so a little more difficult to set up if you open this card in your hand. But it adds a ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So the basis of the search for Tarot Tray, and another search option to set up with Coin Norma, being able to special summon this card off of that monster's flip effect as well. And then for some of the more generic search support, I run 3 Spirit of the Fall Wind. Just a search card. You can, if this card is normal summon, you can add 1 flip monster from your deck to your hand, being able to search, all the different Prediction Princess monsters we have. If you wanted to drop down the number to 2 of Fall Wind and focus more on the setup search you have with all the other Prediction Princess monsters in the deck, you can take out 1 copy of Spirit of the Fall Wind for the 3rd copy of the Tarot Tray in the deck, but that's up to the player preference at that point as well to remember that. And the card we were speaking of earlier, I run the 3 Pot of the Forbidden. It's a flip effect, a level 9 monster just like Tarot Tray. You can activate one of these effects, draw 2 cards, return all spell and traps on the field of the hand, destroy all monsters your opponent control, or look at your opponent's hand, also shuffle 1 card from their hand into the deck, and you can only use this effect of Pot of the Forbidden once per turn. So if you can set this card up with plenty of other options in the deck, you really have a powerhouse card with 2,000 attack and 3,000 defense to rely on, and also just being able to easily set it up with a bunch of other cards we run in the deck, especially for all the cards. And if it's in the graveyard, you can recycle it with cards like Tarot Tray, or just rely on it, especially with a lot of stall games I've noticed where I can tribute out this card, even flip it up and then use those effects, and even have a 2,000 attack point monster if need be to go into it. And there's another special tech spell I like running in this deck that really works well for just a little more draw power and setup, which we'll get to when we talk about these spells. And then for a little more ritual power and search consistency, I run 2 Incantation Candle and 2 Incantation Talismandra, 1 Bookstone, and 1 Pencil Plume. I just really like running the Incantation engine for the monsters. I thought of running the Ritual monster and the spell as well, but I felt like this engine focused more just on the Prediction Princess plays, so relying on just the lineup of the Incantation cards for the search power and just the overall monster setup, because you can definitely easily set them up for having enough monsters to ritual summon out your Tarot Tray in the deck, which is a level 9 monster, so definitely a little more difficult when you can just set them up for that and then use the rest of the Prediction Princesses on the field for their flip effects. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Prediction Ritual. This is the ritual spell for the deck. This card is used to ritual summon Prediction Princess Tarot Tray. You must also attribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 9 or more. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 Prediction Princess monster from your deck to your hand. So more search power with this card as well. That's why I like to run the 3 of it, just so you have the banish effect for the search. But if you want to recycle your monsters, you have enough cards to still go into the Tarot Tray, having the additional ritual spell to rely on as well. And I also run 3 pre-preparation of rites. You add 1 ritual spell card from your deck to your hand, and add 1 ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand whose name is listed on that ritual spell card. You can activate 1 pre-preparation of rites per turn, but the consistency is very easily used with the deck, since you can summon out Tarot Tray, or if it's set up in the graveyard by the other spell we'll get to in just a bit, it's all the more beneficial for the setup. And just the search power overall, having more of the ritual spell in the deck to begin with pre-preparation of rites, but it's a card that adds 2 to your hand, being the ritual monster and spell, so definitely need 3 of it. And I also run 3 Book of the Moon freshly off the ban list at full power. This one definitely helps, I would say, this deck the most, relying on the flip effects. It doesn't have to even just target your opponent's monsters. You can even target your own monsters for the flip if need be with this card, and then just being able to use it with some of the more powerhouse cards for destruction, like your Astro Morrigan, being able to set more of your opponent's monsters without having to rely on your Prediction Princess cards, now that we have 3 Book of Moon off the list as well. And the new card I'm running from Ignition Assault, I'm trying out 2 Kuji-Kiri Curse. With this one, you send 1 level 9 monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. You can only activate 1 Kuji-Kiri Curse per turn, but the level 9 options we have are the Pot of the Forbidden and the Ritual monster as well, which you can go for the draw power, since Tarot Tray specifies. With this, you can summon 1 flip monster from your hand or graveyard. So if you open up the Kuji-Kiri Curse and you send the Pot of the Forbidden, which is another level 9 monster, to the graveyard for the draw 2, it sets it up in the graveyard, possibly giving you more draw power off of Kuji-Kiri Curse as well. Then to use Tarot Tray for the ritual play and special summon Pot of the Forbidden, which you've set up in the graveyard as well using this card. I thought about bumping it up to 3, but I'm really happy with just the 2 of in the deck, since you only have the 5 level 9s to work off. I'd say more so other decks like Generators would definitely benefit more with 3 of this in the deck, but a deck like this where there's only 5 level 9s, definitely 2 for that. And to finish off the main deck, I run 1 Pot of Avarice, just the recycle power, running a good amount of monsters in the main deck, including the incantations especially. For the draw 2, definitely does come in handy, running 1 Pot of Avarice for that recycle power and the draw power back to your hand, along with the other cards, which are running for just more and more consistent draw power, including Pot of the Forbidden as well. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 1 Claire and Rushka, the Vendrilla duo, just a normal summoner set monster to make it, so an easy link 1 to go into, especially if you have multiples of the same Prediction Princess on the field, and you want to go for some of your Nightmare cards. I also run 1 Cross Sheep. The ritual effect for this, when you special summon a ritual monster to it, is a draw 2, discard 2, so you can get basically the same setup for your Pot of the Forbidden or your Tarot Tray in the graveyard to re-add back with this card. Also 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Land Fornicus. Since you run a bunch of different tribute monsters in the deck, I couldn't really narrow it down to either running, Wee Witch, Hip Potion Nengen, or Great Fly, but also run 1 Pentastag for the link 3s, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Topologic Trisbana, and 1 Decode Talker. And then for the link 4s, 1 Borreload Dragon, 1 Saryuja, and 1 Boral Sword. And I do run a good amount of level 3s in the deck, so I run 1 Super Quantal Mech Beast Grand Pulse and 1 Leviair the Sea Dragon. And having the option sometimes for the rank 9s, I run the 1 True King of All Calamity, just needing the 2 level 9s. So if you can set it up with Pot of the Forbidden and Tarot Tray, definitely does come as a powerhouse to run in the deck as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, definitely looking for more deck ideas, so I'm always taking recommendations down in the comments. Be sure to comment down below. I'll definitely consider all ideas given to me. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira, Twig out.